What's up, guys? This is Josh from Runningscaredmotionpictures, and I'm excited because today I have with me
Kim Osborne.
What are we doing today, Kim?
We are doing a reboot of He Is No Man.
Right. So He Is No Man is a short film that was written by Don Noble, and we actually made a short film out of it about 3 years ago.
3 or 4 years ago, before COVID, so it's been a little while.
Well, I'm excited because it was a project that it didn't really need a lot of props or things for us to do. We just kind of needed the time. And I feel like my skill set has increased tenfold since then. So I wanted to kind of reboot this and show the world what we can do.
Yeah, I'm totally psyched about it. When you called me or texted me and said we were going to reboot it, I thought that what we had done was just all in the past. So I'm like super psyched to do it again because I didn't even know you. That, I think you'd put out call out on one of the sites and, basically I'm coming out in the middle of the woods to somebody's house and everybody's like, you're doing a horror movie? Are you sure it's not like a snuff film? And there's like, you don't even know. I'm like, oh, he's like an EMT. I'm safe. So it was a little nerve wracking. I didn't know you guys or anything. We were all kind of trying to figure stuff out. And it was the first thing I had done in a long time. So it's nice to kind of come back and revisit that. So
nice. And you came from a stage background, correct?
Yeah, I'd mostly done just theater, and I hadn't even done that in like 10 years. So I really wanted to get into the like short films and stuff, and I was really psyched to do it. So I think that might have been the first thing I had done in like 10 years.
Oh, nice.
So I've done a few other short films since then, but COVID really put a stop to all of that. So it's nice to be able to get back into it again.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to be back. Well, it was funny. I was talking to Matt about this earlier, and the first day that we shot, I remember I was up on a ladder trying to tape a light and you had showed up, and I was so excited because if you didn't, like, the whole project would have failed and we hadn't met at that point. So there was like a lot riding on you showing up. So I'm glad you did. But like I said, I'm excited because the skill set that we have today, much better than we did 3 years ago. And it's funny because I've said this before on the podcast and in other things. One of the biggest mistakes that I ever made, I remember, was with you specifically. You're like, well, what do you want me to do here? And I remember I was so new. I'm like, I don't know, whatever you think looks good. Like, for a director to look at an actor and be like, I don't know, like, whatever you think looks good, like, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, it was really loose that first time. So I was like, I don't really know you, and I don't know what you expect, and I don't know, like, what the background is here. So, yeah, it was...
Well, at the time, we had just gotten the what was it, the Ronin? Not the Ronin, the gimbal, and we were trying to figure that out, and like there was like a lot of gear stuff going on, so I wasn't focused on as much of the directing aspect of it as I should have been. I was kind of technically focused, but we've been working really hard at Running Scared, and we've grown a lot. Our lighting's better, our audio's better, our directing is a lot better, so I'm excited to see what we can do today. Yeah,
I'm totally psyched too, because I think, especially this role, even though she doesn't have a lot of speaking, it's the lead character.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's really hard, like, when you're a woman over the age of 40, 45, to get any lead roles, because most of the stuff out there is geared towards younger people. So it's really, I'm really psyched to have a part in this and be kind of like the focus. So.
Yeah, well, the first time we shot this, I was really impressed because your role is kind of hard for the character that you're playing. And like you said, there's not a lot of lines. It's more about the mannerisms and stuff. But everybody I've ever showed He Is No Man to, when we watched the opening scene where it shows you first, like the way your mouth was kind of open and you had that stare out, like it was perfect. No, like you really killed it.
The comatose look, I nailed that one.
Well, what's really cool is so I've got all the footage from 3 years ago that we shot. So I'm going to incorporate some of it into this short and stuff, and we're going to try to be creative and do some really, really neat and unique things.
Yeah, I'll be totally psyched to see it when it's finished. So.
Well, she's here to shoot He Is No Man, but I want to get a little bit deeper into, asking you some questions and stuff. So what made you want to act?
I think at first, I probably didn't start anything till I was in my late 20s, and I think it was theater and it was local and I had friends doing it and it just seemed like fun. And then I got a little more into it and I did a lot of theater a while, probably in my 30s, like back to back theater. And I did staged readings in New York and I did a lot of local theater. And then my job, I just couldn't do it for a while. So I really missed that like outlet. Like everybody says, get a hobby. And I think I like the change up all the time, the different characters you get to portray, working with different people. And so I hadn't done anything for a long time. And then, things have changed so much. There was a lot of small films coming out by other people. And it was nice to see something in the area and not have to travel to Boston for. So I was really psyched. I'm like, well, let's see if I can do the whole short film, because theater is so different. You're very expressive and, but when you're doing the film acting, you have to be, more inside yourself, a little more aware of small physical things that you might do that, impact the character.
Nice. Now, I know it was 3 years ago, so this might be kind of hard to recall, but do you remember what your first thought was the first time you got to read the script for He Is No Man? Like, what was your process or your thinking going into seeing it for the first time?
I think a lot of it was because I also didn't know you, so I didn't know what, your personality or the other people. So that had, and basically just coming out here and I think just filming it all of a sudden one day, we didn't have meetings to go over the script or anything. So I just really wasn't sure what you expected of me. And so it's funny, even though I hadn't thought about it or looked at the script since then, I feel a little more into it now because I did it once, I got to know you guys. And so thinking about it the last couple of weeks, I feel like I'm a little more into where the character is and to see once I saw the whole film and the rest of it, because I hadn't seen any of the clips before I had actually done my bit. So seeing some of the other stuff now, it's a little easier to kind of dive back into the character. And I hope I go a little deeper a little bit without.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. So Don Noble from Rooster Republic Press, he's the one who wrote He Is No Man. And his original story it was a lot longer than the short that we shot. And there was a lot more to it. But again, I was kind of scrambling around trying to make sure everything was technically right. And we skipped and had to miss some things and make some concessions. And even when I watch it back now, there's so much that I like about it, but there's so much that I'm like, oh man, if I had just known, and today's the day we know, and now we can and kind of like you said, what you were bringing up to, you've created the character now. We've created the world, we've got the tone, we know what it feels like, and now we can build on it, And I will say too, John Sterling doing the score for the original He Is No Man was crazy because
that was.
I'll be honest, even when I first put the edit together for that project, I didn't love it at first, it's kind of typical for me. But once John sent me back the score, that's what pulled everything together. The music was big in this.
Well, it's funny having him and Don, the guy that wrote it, never meeting them or talking to them either.
They're halfway across the country.
I know. So that's really a different concept towards things. But so coming into it the first time, I felt a little unprepared. I mean, I'm glad it came out good. So I'm really a lot more excited to redo it again today.
That was my fault though. I just didn't do a good job of setting things up in the beginning. But now, like I said, it's just, I know what I want. And I think now that, like you brought up, we got to see the project, we know what it should be now. So I feel like we've got a good path here. And me and Matt have been working hard on the script, breaking it down, coming up with things we're going to do. We have the extra camera now, so being able to shoot everything twice at once makes a huge difference. And our lighting has really just improved a lot, our cinematography, our camera work, and just kind of how we do things. And even our style, I feel like now, I've had friends tell me, they're like, as soon as I see something that you've done, one of your shorts, I know it's yours right off the bat.
Yeah.
My camera work, the color, things like that. So it's cool to hear that. All right, let's get back to you in a little bit more. So you had talked about, what it was like. You didn't really know us. You showed up and you were, just going to try it out and see what happened. What did you do to get ready for the part, especially not knowing us? Did you just read it a bunch? Did you read the lines with friends or family or?
No, I never do that with anybody. I don't know why I'm so private when it comes to stuff. So I guess I don't want a lot of other input or critiquing from other people. So I think just sitting and, it was harder the first time because I didn't know any background. After I saw it and I saw the beginning and my son and how things evolved, it's a lot easier now. But I think it was just basically thinking what would be going through my head and making sure, which I think hopefully I do a better job this time, but just emoting really small things that you're going to pick up on the camera rather than, because that's what it's more about, where I don't have a lot of lines. I'm basically just laying in bed. So I think it comes down to more, what I'm feeling inside being expressed on my face.
Yeah. No, I think you're right on the money with that. Exactly. I mean, it's tough too. When I work with a lot of theater people, it's and again, this is not a knock or anything, but theater people, they have to express and be almost over the top. And in film, I feel like that's kind of the big difference. It's it is the little subtleties. It's the nuance. It's the small face twitch. It's those things that just go, such a far away. But again, now you've got a little bit more experience on it. We do as well. Yeah. So I think this time, and I'll be able to direct you this time instead of saying, I don't know, whatever you think looks good. So if you've ever heard me say that story, here's the person that I said it to.
Yeah. It was really kind of let's just do this.
Yeah.
We don't know, but we're just going to do it.
We had to just get it done too. It came to a point where it's I was trying to get it done in one day, which was a mistake too, because that's what I've learned too. It's can you get projects done quick? Yes, but if you want a project done right, it can't be quick. Like if
Yeah.
you want to get the proper lighting, if you want to get the proper sound, it's like these things just take time and effort. But I've built a great team, and we've got a really good cast and crew. We've got Bill DeForge and Peyton Sidebottom coming over later. They're going to help do some audio and second camera. We got Matt Bianchi coming back. He's going to act today, and we have Kim here with us as well. So I'm really excited to have you here, Kim. I will touch base again. I'm going to do another podcast. I'll have Kim and Matt on, and we'll all talk about the process of how today went, what we improved on, what went worse than I guess the first time, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, we'll find out here again.
No, we're back in full force. So this is Josh from Running Scared Motion Pictures. Stay safe. Over.